So we're talking all things skincare on the Healthy Aging podcast today, and we are on series 4, episode 2, and I am alone. There is no Lorraine with me today, so I'm flying this ship on my, flying it? I don't think you fly a ship, do you? I'm sailing this ship on my own today, but that's okay because I've got an incredible guest speaker with us today who is full of knowledge when it comes to skincare and how to ensure that we're looking after our skin and making sure that we age well with our skin. And so I am going to introduce you all to the lovely Fiona McMahon, who works alongside me in Nu Skin. However, Fiona has been in the beauty industry, I would say most of her life. She'll tell us in a minute just how long she has been in the beauty industry, but she is a skincare specialist. She knows so much about the skin, and she's taught me so much. It's incredible. And yet she's only been part of the Nu Skin business a short period, and I've learned more from her than I have from many people. So it's an absolute pleasure to have her on our podcast today. So Fiona, welcome to the podcast. And could you just start by sharing a little bit of your background? So what I'm looking for really is like how long you've been in the beauty industry, when you started really specialising on skin, and what you do for a living.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a lovely introduction. So I've been in the beauty industry to begin with on and off for about 20 years. And I began with makeup, just doing a friend's makeup for a wedding if she was a bridesmaid, and then when she became a bride, doing her as a bride, and then her bridesmaids got me to do them as brides. And it was before makeup became such a big thing, so it was a lot more natural look back then, so it was a lot more comfortable doing that then. So I started with that and then progressed on to things like acrylic nails, eyelash treatments, brow treatments, spray tanning, and semi-permanent lashes. This was all previous to my first marriage splitting up, and then when that happened, I went to college full-time and started my HND. And that was where my passion for skincare really came from. I can't say to begin with I was a holistic kind of lover. I didn't love massage and I didn't love facials initially. I was more about the transformation. I was all tans, lashes, nails, a quick transformation in the glam. But I soon developed, I love science, and I love all things skin related and all things anatomy and physiology. So my love for things like that really grew. I didn't fully complete my HND. I was paying for my own course at college, and at the time the colleges were all merging, and I felt as though I wasn't really getting my money's worth in the second year of my education because there was never enough equipment, there was never enough products, and you were bringing clients in for practical sessions, and I felt it was a bit embarrassing asking them to pay for a minimal amount for treatments. So I continued my education privately. So I went with some big names in skincare and continued down that line. So I went with loads of big brand names and trained to a fairly high level with them before opening my own salon, my first salon.
So how does that work then? Because I don't know anything about the industry as such. Like all I know is college. That's how beauty therapists train, is at college. And in Scotland, we also have Mary Read. I definitely know about Mary Read's, and I believe that's a private college where people go to as well. But what about skincare brands that do private stuff? Is that like, do you have to be at a certain level before they will then take you on a course? Is it more like a CPD? Tell us a bit about that.
So when I left college, so I had completed my NC and part of my HNC. So by that time I had face and body electrotherapy. So that's really what you need, that your anatomy and physiology, body massage, things like that. So I had all that before I went privately. So I was able then to be trained in like systems from brands, like Casey and Byron and things like that. So they have their own machines. So I trained to a high level with them. also, you know, brought in brands, like high-end brands for spray tans and lashes and things like that. So I had already trained in all those things anyway, but I like to make sure that I have good brand names, names that people know and that people love and that you can educate them on.
Yeah, because one of the things, like, so if we look at Casey, for example, prior to me getting involved with Nu Skin and using the galvanic spa that talk about in Nu Skin, and I've spoke about this on the podcast, so people that have listened to the podcast know about the galvanic spa, but I used to be a Casey user. So I got to the age of 30, started to get a little bit concerned about my skin, asked a friend who looked brilliant, she was 10 years older than me, but looked younger, and she said to me, I go for Casey. And I'd never heard of Casey before. And she said, Susie, honestly, it's one of the best treatments you'll ever get. That's what you should do. So I started to go for Casey. And then from there, I was then introduced to galvanic spa. And I would use galvanic spa in between my Casey treatments. And I'd still to this day think it's an incredible device, system, whatever would be the correct word for it. Now, you mentioned that you said that you were taught systems. When you say you were taught systems, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like the machines, or do you mean a full facial system, as in from beginning to end?
Both. So
Okay.
you're trained in how to use the machine properly and efficiently. But again, by that time, I already had those qualifications. But you're trained in using their machine specifically to get the best out of it for your clients. And obviously, there are lots of different. So the Casey and the Environ machine do lots of different facials. So there are lots of different products that you would incorporate into those facials. So no, I'm very much of the opinion that when a client comes to see me, that you should give them a bespoke, almost prescription facial. So, you know, you're catering to their needs, what their skin needs, and use products and or treatments, you know, in accordance with what their skin needs or what they want. It's what they need or what they want.
Yeah, so like what their desired outcome would be, for example.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I don't know if this is maybe too difficult a question because I'm not sat in front of you, but it's just to get an idea. If I was to come to you, I'm 47-year-old. My biggest thing is I want to prevent aging. So I want the skin to be more toned and tight and reduce fine lines and wrinkles, have more of a glow. I don't have any skin concerns. What would probably be a really good thing for me to do?
So first of all, I'd be looking at your skin up close and having a feel of it as well, to determine, you know, is it just the skin or is it the skin and the muscle? And at your age, same age as me, then there's going to be muscle laxity as well there. So I would always recommend a Casey treatment. So what happens with the Casey machine is that the machine sends a subsensory message to the brain of the muscle, and it teaches it to sit in a more optimum position. So that's what the machine does. So it's lifting your face up. And then I would prescribe something or give you a bespoke treatment that's going to help tighten whatever area it is that you want to work on, or the whole face. And we would use products and whatever machine we would use to make sure that we deliver exactly what you're trying to achieve.
So would you say, and actually I think I know already, Fiona, it's not, you really would need me in front of you to find out the best thing, but would you say that Casey is probably one of the main ones that you would use, or is that too difficult a question?
For muscle lifting primarily, I would always use Casey. It has some very, very good skin treatments as well. So also the machine that I use has a sonic blade on it, so it vibrates 30,000 times a second to just lift the surface debris from the skin. So it's a really non-ablative way of deep cleansing the skin, a lot like the Lumi Spa. So it's not damaging the epidermis, which is what I'm very, very much trained to believe, that the epidermis of our skin should be preserved, that it shouldn't be scraped away, that we shouldn't be doing anything too ablative to it. So I'll use that, and I'll also do LED red and blue light treatments with that machine. There's, you know, hyaluronic infused masks, the hydro masks, there's Casey iRevive treatments. So it's all like lifting treatments and skin treatments. So you could come in and just get a non-surgical facelift on its own, but I mean, you're going to be doing a full facial incorporating that. But if that was all you wanted, you could, but we would always do some skin work along with that. And again, that depends very much on, you know, what your problems are. Is your skin very dry? Is it crepey? Has it got lines and wrinkles? Has it got pigmentation? And we would come up with a plan to treat all or some of those concerns.
Brilliant. So I have found that, and this will be really interesting to get your opinion on this. So I've been with Nu Skin for 12 years. Prior to that, I wasn't really into skincare. I was a soap and water girl and an oil of Olay girl. I know, I'm so sorry, but that's what I was. I probably had Casey for about maybe 2 years. And then I joined Nu Skin, started using my galvanic spa. You know about the Nu Skin products. I don't need to go into all that, but started to use the products, and really started using my beauty therapist for other things like pedicures, etc., you know, because I wanted to stick to the Nu Skin products. And a lot of that was just how I felt about Nu Skin and the fact that I loved it. Now, as I said, 47-year-old, and I'm thinking, actually, my skin could be doing with a little bit more. I think the Nu Skin products are absolutely incredible. I'm so happy with them. I'll never ever change my at-home treatments, but I do think that I could probably be doing with a little bit added something. I personally am not into surgical procedures. I don't have any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, judgment, that's the word. I don't have any judgment over people that do have. I'm not into Botox or anything like that. I just don't want to go down there. I'm not into anything invasive. And I asked a friend who works in the skincare industry, what would you recommend for me? And she was like, electrical therapies, without a doubt, would be phenomenal for you. Is that something that you would agree as well? Is that the sort of thing you would say?
So I've said about the Casey machine, and it does have some great skincare treatments on there, as well as the muscle lifting side of it. But also the Environ machine has electrosonic treatments that really, really tighten the skin. It does some fabulous skin treatments as well. So that would be the one that I would use for tightening the skin. That would be the one that I would use for, you know, really, really treating somebody with like a really active acne. I would be using that for real problematic skin concerns. The blue and red light on the Casey machine would also be a good one that I would possibly combine, like for an acne treatment, for example. But there's the Environ machine would primarily be my go-to for really addressing skin concerns. So yeah.
Cool. And then what's your view, and if I'm putting you on the spot here and you don't want to answer it, that's fine, but what is your view on like more aggressive therapies or invasive?
So when you say invasive, are we talking like fillers and Botox and things like that, or are you talking about, you know, peels and ablative things?
All of it, actually. Or is it, again, is it too big a question?
No. Yeah, I'll in the past have had Botox and fillers, not for many years. And personally, for me, I feel as though it makes me look a bit odd. I feel a bit feline looking, and I just look in the mirror and I don't see me. Therefore, I don't like it. And I'm not saying I love the way that I look. Let's get that out there. But I feel as if I'm alien when I look in the mirror. Now, it's not like that for everybody, and I think personally that there's definitely a place for it, and it looks great on lots of people. I think it can be taken too far at times, but then I think each to their own. That's you know, it's a personal thing, but I have seen lots of different therapists, and I watch them and seen there are some real artists out there that really can make a face look really pretty. So there's definitely a place for it, and I'm not saying that in the future I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But right now for me, I'm still at the stage where I don't like it changing my features too much.
Yep. And what about some of the other things, other options that are out there?
So again, like I believe as well that I've said already that I believe that you should be preserving the epidermis, so I'm not into anything that's too ablative. So if I was to do a peel in the salon, it would be a mild repetitive peel that's only taking away the bad skin cells and preserving the good skin cells. And a set of mild repetitive peels, like say 1 a week or 1 a month or whatever, are going to have the same effect as one big, really, really deep peel. Now, that's not to say that what I'm saying is correct and what I'm saying is right. Everybody and every therapist and every skin specialist will have a completely different opinion on what's good for skin. And, you know, I have done more ablative treatments in the past, and I still would for those clients that absolutely want it, but I would always try and educate on what I believe is good for the skin. The other thing that I think is very, very good for the skin, and I don't actually do this anymore, is dermal needling. It's a very, very good treatment for the skin. Again, it's very good at addressing aging. But yeah, there are different beliefs in what's good for the skin, and that's just my belief.
And I think you've said a key thing there, Fiona. That's the big thing about the podcast. Lorraine and I want to speak to different people just to hear what their beliefs are. And there is no right or wrong. I'm really big on that. It's not, you know, and especially when it comes to skincare, there are so many different opinions. And it's like I say, it's not that you're right or wrong. It's like, that's my belief. That's what works for me. That's what resonates for me. And as we're going through the podcast, that's the big thing for anybody and everybody that's speaking to us. It's to hear different points of views and for people then to make their own decisions and judgments of, that actually sounds like something I'd like to do, or nope, that's not for me. And it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an opinion.
Yeah. So what do you think? Let's get away from treatments. What do you think? Now, I would say if someone was to say to me, right, Susie, we need to look at other ways to help you preserve your youthful skin. Obviously, my two main go-tos would be drink lots of water and use a sunscreen. That would be my two main things. Is there anything that I'm missing? And do you agree that those two would be pretty much up there?
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been my first point. Drinking water. I mean, it's not the elixir of life for nothing. Really keeps the skin hydrated. It helps to maintain the pH balance of the skin. It flushes out the toxins. You know, people like acne sufferers are going to potentially have less spots and pimples because they're flushing their system. And I know it can be difficult to drink lots of water, but you're also less likely to suffer like scarring and fine lines and wrinkles if you drink lots of water and you stay hydrated. And you can see if someone's dehydrated, particularly after like illness or holidays, like when you do that, you can almost see like sort of fine lines. So dehydrated and dry skin are two different things. So dry skin's a type, and a dehydration is a condition that can be easily rectified just by drinking water. I would also say a healthy, balanced diet and eating a diet rich in antioxidants, because as we know, free radicals can do so much damage to the skin. So the bigger amount of antioxidants that you can get into your system, the better. Now, as you'll know, nowadays our foods don't have as high a source of goodness that they did have in the past, you know, just because of the way they're grown or packaged or cooked even. So I would recommend supplements because you can do so much topically, but people completely underestimate the power of combining skincare with internal care. I mean, it just takes your skincare to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because when Lorraine and I were looking at doing the Healthy Aging podcast, you know, we were very much about preventative. That was a trainee thought, and we wanted to educate people on the mindset, because we believe that if you think well and healthy, you'll be well and healthy. Nutrition, if you eat well, you'll live well. Fitness, if you move your body, you'll last longer. And then we're thinking, does skincare really fit into those? And it's like, of course it does, because if people are eating well and exercising and have got that positive mindset, that does show on the skin, because the skin is the body's biggest organ. So everything that we do affects every part of it. So if we can get people eating better, whether that be to feel better or whether it be to look better, it doesn't matter, as long as we can get people healthier. And you see that, like, we've spoke about the biophotonic scanner on this podcast, and I can go into somebody's house or place of work or gym to scan them, and I can look at them and I can tell by looking at them if they're healthy or not most of the time. And they might say to me, I've been under a little bit of stress recently, or I've had this or I've had that, I don't think I'm going to do well on the scanner. And I say to them, I actually think you're going to do better than you imagine. And it's because I can tell by looking at them that they have a healthy glow, they've looked after themselves, and probably they're going to do okay. And most of the time they come out not bad on the scanner, even though they think that they're not going to, because they're doing better than what they think. And then I can look at somebody who looks they've got that dull complexion, they look tired, they've not been looking after themselves, and they say, oh, I've been eating all the right fruits and veg, and we put the hand on the scanner and no, they haven't. So it definitely shows, doesn't it? If you're looking after your whole body, you definitely see it in your skin.
Well, even just exercising, I mean, obviously you're stimulating your circulatory system there. So it's like when you're doing a facial or you're applying products, any kind of stimulation that stimulates the circulatory system is going to bring fresh blood. So it's going to bring fresh oxygen and fresh nutrients to your skin. So exercise as well is a great one. What I would say though is that excessive exercise, and I mean real excessive exercise, can introduce free radicals to your skin. So, you'll maybe see like some female bodybuilders or male bodybuilders as well who have really, really buff bodies, but their facial skin has aged more. They're more drawn looking, and it's because of the free radicals. So that is, people that you would really want to target things that are rich in antioxidants to help fight, because what they do is they inhibit the free radicals from you would want to do it topically as well as orally. So definitely something you would want to do. Yeah.
So let's talk, because we're talking about supplements and stuff just now, let's just quickly mention this before I go on to the next thing I want to ask you. Collagen.
Yep.
Collagen seems to be a big buzzword in the industry just now. Our company have launched a collagen liquid drink over in America, soon to launch it here in the UK. Is it something that you're taking at the moment?
Yes, absolutely.
And what's your views on collagen for skincare and health?
Well, it's you need that collagen peptide in your skin to stimulate your fibroblasts in order for your skin to produce more collagen and elastin. Okay, so that's the main thing for anti-aging. The thing about the new skin collagen is that it's also got in there the lutein, which is a blue light reflector. So it's your thing that's going to fight against oxidative stress. So you're getting that throughout your whole body, as well as the collagen as well. So it's not just the skin in your face then that you're going to be improving, it's your all over skin. And then the phytoceramides in there, so they're really, really going to help with joints and just hydration of the skin as well. There are lots. I mean, one of the products that I would have been saying is essential in your skincare routine is something with peptides in it, because in order to stimulate your collagen and elastin, you need that amino acids, the peptide, to get into your skin to stimulate the fibroblasts, which is the cells down in your dermis that make the collagen and elastin, and taking it orally is the best way to do that, in my opinion.
And so tell me a little bit about peptides then. What is a peptide? For an easy way to describe it.
They're like, so don't quote me on this, but they're amino acids. So they're like long chains of amino acids, like broken down, and they enter the skin and they stimulate the fibroblasts to produce more collagen and elastin. In basic terms, there'll be a more scientific, better explanation, and there'll be something that but basically that's what it does. So you couldn't just take collagen and put collagen on your skin. You need it to be broken down in peptides small enough to get in and you want to get those peptides as close to the dermis as possible. So taking it orally is going to do that. But if you were doing it topically, you would want something that was going to push it down into your dermis, because above the dermis you've got 5 layers of the epidermis, and where everything's happening is down in that dermis. So the closer an active ingredient, a key ingredient, a peptide, a retinol, whatever gets down into the dermis, then the better your skin's going to be, because what it's going to do is going to feed all those cells so that they come up, and eventually as your skin sheds, those healthy cells will move up and you'll have good skin. People often want to just take a supplement or a skincare product, use it for 3 weeks and come back and say, I've used it for a couple of weeks and there's no difference. Well, you know, you've got 30 years of sun damage on your skin. You've got to give it time. It's a process. But, you know, bit by bit, it can be improved.
So, for example, right, I think about, when we mention peptides, I think about the True Face Line Corrector that we have in Nu Skin. And that's fully peptides, and we use that with the Galvanic Spa, which of course the Galvanic is used to drive product deeper under the layers of the skin. So would that be an example of something that would be a really good product to use then?
Yes, definitely. I am not 100% sure on how far down the epidermis and or the dermis the Galvanic Spa pushes it, but again, as close to that dermis as possible. The further the product gets in, the better. I know that it certainly pushes it in much further than hand. And when you see the results, I mean, it's quite astonishing to me, because it is a galvanic. It's not a microcurrent lifting device. It works differently from Casey. Galvanic and the current that's in Casey are different. So it always astonishes me how you get that same lift, but it's just obviously the tightening of the skin that gives this lift. Whereas to get that instant lift for me in the salon, it would be Casey I would use, which is a completely different current. Is a completely different thing. So it just astonishes me how well the Galvanic Spa works. It's just amazing.
Well, I think it's really interesting, because after 12 years of using it and doing half-face demonstrations on people from 16 to 80, I always get a result, and I still get as excited as if it's day one, because I'm like, oh, I'm wondering if I'm going to get a result, and I always do. But I really believe that that's just all to do with the science, the research, the development, the amount of money that Nu Skin put into everything to bring the best to the market. Now, when we look at daily skincare, Fiona, what would you say is like really, really important? Because not everybody's going to go to the beauty salon. People are going to have different opinions about what to have at the beauty salon. So what would be your advice when it comes to daily skincare? What are absolute essentials? Give us a wee bit about that.
Okay, so first and foremost, just have some sort of routine. Doesn't have to be the most complicated routine. As I said before, just that action of applying things to your skin stimulates the skin, brings fresh blood and oxygen and nutrients, and it just gives your skin a glow. But the main things that I would always have in my skincare would be products containing peptides, products containing hyaluronic acid, vitamin A, vitamin C, an SPF, a broad spectrum SPF, and a physical sunscreen if possible. So one that's going to sit on the skin and it's going to reflect blue light. So that would be one with titanium dioxide or zinc oxide in it. And I believe the new colour BB cream, the new BB cream has titanium dioxide and zinc oxide in there. So that's a good way of protecting your skin. The thing with makeup is, generally speaking, makeup sitting on your skin will probably last a bit longer than sunscreen will, but you still really need to top it up. So I would always say have an SPF powder or something to, top it up throughout the day. if you're outside, but it's really going to help with blue light. And what people don't know is that blue light is in phones, laptops, overhead lights, and that's really, really aging you. So yeah, all those products would be what I would have in my typical day. And I would say try and have a salon treatment if you can, every now and again. But if you can't, there are great home care devices that you can use, and great home care products, just to pamper yourself at home.
Yeah, but the salon treatments are really, really important, and you guys have trained for long periods of time to be able to advise people on little hints and tips. You know, I've learned so much already from speaking to you. I'm just curious about the blue light, because obviously, again, within Nu Skin, we've got a product range called Nutricentials, which is a fairly new product range, and they promote massively about the blue light protection in that range. And that was the first time I'd heard about it. Is the protection of blue light a big thing in skincare now, or is it quite new? Have you heard about it a lot, and is it in a lot of products?
Over the past few years, I mean, certainly UVA in the sun is going to age you, but so is blue light. So what I remember, so when people ask why a broad spectrum SPF and what does it protect from, so you've got UVA and UVB. UVA has got a lower energy, a longer reach, if you like. It goes deeper into the skin, so it gets down to the dermis and it gets to those collagen and elastin cells and depletes them, or, you know, damages them. So you will be tanned or burned from UVA, but not the way you will from UVB. So UVB is stronger, but it's got a closer reach, so it'll only get to the surface of the skin, and that's where you'll get that sort of delayed burning, like real blisters and stuff. And UVB will be responsible for lots of skin cancers. And then you've got blue light as well. So blue light will also age you. So it's really, really important. Like, I used to always have my kids putting on sunscreen in the morning after they're brushing their teeth, and my husband would say to me, "You're crazy. You are crazy." And I'd have them saying, "What does UVA do?" And they'd say, "Ages you. What does UVB do? It burns you." And where is it? And the lights, the computer, your phone. But now they're lucky if they even brush their teeth, to be honest. But it's such an important thing to do. Like, there's no point in having a good skincare regime and then not having protection on your face. And even if it's just in a wee bit of SPF powder, just to protect you, it's so important. And blue light, definitely. It's just going to become increasingly more of an issue, and I think we'll see it probably in the next generation. You know, with mobile phones and all the technology we've got. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think I've covered most of the things I wanted to speak to you about, but do you have anything that you think that you'd like to mention, or do you think that maybe I've missed that it would be really important for the listeners to know about?
Just having a wee look at my notes here. Yeah, I touched on vitamin A and vitamin C, so retinols and vitamin C. So vitamin C, which is in a lot of the Nu Skin products as well, it's in the Ideal Eye Cream. It's a free radical scavenger. Okay, so it's a really, really powerful antioxidant. So that's one that you want to be taking in your diet and you want to be using in your skin. It'll also help to lighten and brighten. It's very, very good for pigmentation as well. And vitamin A, which is people all know as retinol. So vitamin A is such a powerful product for treating all skin concerns. So it does things like normalizes your oil production. So where you're excessively oily, it'll help combat that, and where you're excessively dry, it'll help to balance that out. It strengthens the capillary wall, so it helps to stop the leakage of blood, so less broken veins and redness in the skin, so good for like rosacea sufferers. It stimulates the fibroblasts as well. supports your skin's own immunity in the sun. Now, it's by no means a sunscreen, but somebody using vitamin A or retinols on their skin are going to have a better skin, like a natural defense from the sun, than somebody that doesn't. What I would say about retinols is that you should always speak to a professional. I would always recommend that you use a step-up system, which is how I would do it. Start very, very minimally, and I'll let your skin acclimatise, because otherwise you can have a very, very nasty retinoid reaction if you use a retinol that's too strong for your skin. I mean, it's fairly easily cleared up, but you don't want that just before a big event, you know, a red, itchy rash. But retinols are so powerful, and what they do is they thicken the epidermis. So that's what I'm all about. I want to thicken this rather than scrape it all away, and that's why I love the Lumi Spa, because it gives such a deep cleanse without damaging the epidermis.
Yeah, I mean, the Lumi Spa has been a huge, huge, huge hit for us, hasn't it? I mean, so many phenomenal results coming from it, and I think we're all just amazed at how the company have managed to produce such an incredible device that does so many phenomenal things. I love it. I just absolutely love it.
Wish I'd found it a few years before, but however, I've found it now.
And like one more question, and then I want you to share a little bit about how people can find you. But is there such a thing, Fiona? And again, you might not want to answer this because it's not about being disrespectful about anything or anybody else. But is there such a thing as bad products? Like, is there products out there that are just an absolute waste of money? We shouldn't be using them. Would you say yes or no?
No comment.
Okay.
That's the safest thing. The safest thing to say.
Well done. Okay, so if people are looking to come and get a treatment from yourself, where could they find you?
So I'm based in Airdrie, and they would find me online. So they find me at Salon Allure on Facebook and on Instagram. And I'm based at home. I used to have a large hair and beauty salon in the town, and I gave that up, thankfully, just about a year before the pandemic. Wow. So it was lovely time, and so all my clients just now come. So I've converted in here in a garage in here, and my clients all come here. So I've got a proper salon for the clients to come to. So you'll get me on Facebook and on Instagram, Salon Allure EEE, I believe. My daughter set it up with 3 E's at the end on Instagram, and just Salon Allure on Facebook. All one word.
Brilliant. So if there's one little tip that you could implement, that you could have the listeners implement right now, that's going to help their skin stay youthful longer, what would that one tip be?
SPF.
Okay. Awesome.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Fiona, thank you so much for joining us, because I know you're very, very busy, and it was a challenge even getting this appointment booked in, wasn't it? So yep. I really, really appreciate you joining myself, and Lorraine is going to be devastated that she missed it. I know that she is, but she'll definitely listen to it and she'll get lots and lots of nuggets from it. She is so dedicated to her skincare that she probably had a whole list of other questions, so we might get you back on again the next time we come round to series, it'll be series 8, and she'll have her list of questions. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. For everybody that's enjoyed it. Oh, good. For everybody that's listening, as always, you can find us on Instagram, Healthy Aging Podcast, on YouTube at the Healthy Aging Podcast, and we are on all the podcast platforms, Spotify being the main one. Look forward to speaking to you all again next week, where we will have another incredible guest who is going to speak all about skincare. Have a great week, everyone.